Hey, love bugs! It is that time of year again. Benjamin McAvoy just released the 2026 Hardcore Literature Book Club book list, which means it's time for my very unsolicited opinion on said list and a review of the translations that I plan on reading for next year. But before I get too far into that, I am so curious how y'all's reading year has been, because it has been a quiet year in books and publishing. I was really surprised when the Goodreads Reader's Choice Awards came out. I didn't recognize a single title, and I do not live in a hole, my friends. I thought it was really strange that I hadn't even seen the advertising for these books. The other thing that was strange for me this year was that the Booker Prize. So for those of you that follow me on Substack, I do a Booker bracket every year that's a lot of fun. We take the long list and we do a final fantasy. You can tell I'm a nerd. Fantasy football style bracket, and we pick our own winner, which is really fun. But after reading 3 of the long list, I was so, how do I say this nicely, disappointed that I just dropped the whole project, which is a bummer because it's one of my favorite things of the year. So I'm really curious how your reading year has been and if it was as strange for you as it was for me. So feel free to drop a comment or reach out to me via your usual channels. I'd be really interested. Okay, without further ado, let's get into Ben's list. So first up is Lonesome Dove. I had to laugh when I saw this one on the list because Book Riot, which is a podcast that I follow, they do more than podcasts, but their podcast is excellent, has joked for a long time, threatened for a long time to do a read through because this is a doorstop of Lonesome Dove, and here it is at the top of Ben's list. I am curious, not super excited, curious about this one. I've heard great things about it. I'm looking forward to reading it with this group. And yes, this is a shameless plug for the Hardcore Literature Book Club. I have grown so much as a person and as a reader from this book club. If you don't follow it on Patreon, I 10 out of 10 recommend it. And if it's not something that you can afford, at the very least, take a look at Ben's videos on YouTube. They are fantastic. I would not attempt any of these books without his introductory lecture. So definitely recommend it. Okay, and I have a cushion on the floor. I'm not just chunking my books. Next up is we are going to be reading some Greek tragedy. Now, I have the Greek tragedies in several translations, but I did not have the one that Ben recommended. So this is translated by Mary Lefkowitz and James Rahm, if I might be pronouncing that incorrectly. Can I tell you, there's the reason I'm really enthusiastic about this one is kind of silly. The paper quality of this paperback is chef's kiss. This is what we're talking about here, people. This is quality paper. That's smooth, beautifully printed. This is a well-constructed, it's a modern library trade paperback. Other people should take note. The only thing it's missing, I think, is that I like the flap. What do they call that? I'm just going to call it the flap. Anyway, really, really excited about reading those. Reading and watching. Next up, we're looking at March and April. So this is the one book I don't have yet. I ordered it, The Idiot by Dostoevsky. So, okay. True story, I'm a Tolstoy girl. A rabid Tolstoy fan. I call him the GOAT. I reread Tolstoy's works every year, at least something every year. I think that while I'm not excited about this one, I am determined to crack his work open and learn something from it. I've got a couple of translations of Crime and Punishment, the Brothers Karamazov. One of these days, we're going to be besties, but today is not the day. So I'm excited it's on here, but it's kind of like being excited about having a kale salad. You know, like you're not really excited, but you know it's going to be super good for you. That's how I feel about this one. Next up is something I'm genuinely stoked for, which is the poetry of William Blake. And I don't know if he recommended this edition, but I got his complete poetry and prose. I got it in hardcover. And I wanted the commentary by Harold Bloom, so I got that. This is a gorgeous hardcover. I actually think I bought this used. Do you ever sometimes get a used novel that is essentially new? It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Great paper. There's, you know, what would you call that? It's not an illustration. There's a word for it. It's late. Pardon my brain. I am super excited about this one. So 10 out of 10 excited. Okay. Next up is The Art of War. Not this year, 2025, but the year before, Ben did some like foundational thought books. And if I remember correctly, they were pretty Western in scope. And he was going back to doing foundational reads. And I'm really excited that he made a more diverse selection. And also, I already owned this. I think I said that. The Penguin Classics deluxe editions are really nice. I love a deckled edge. And there's that flap. I'm really excited also because it's been sitting on my shelf and I just haven't read it. And for some reason, I don't know who is hiring's not the right, because he didn't hire the translator, but who is selecting the translator for these editions. But Penguin's translation choices are always fire. So really stoked about this. How many times can I say stoked? I'm going to turn this video into a drinking game. In May and June, we're reading the Neapolitan Quartet. I have already read this one. I had to repurchase it. I don't remember why I got rid of it. Sometimes I make poor choices. I did look into the single volume. Ben had mentioned that this was originally intended to be one story. When I talk about a doorstop. And I looked at the hardcover edition, but I don't know if y'all saw this. It had beautiful sprayed edges. I will not call it spreadges. Ugh, that word. But there was a lot of play in the binding, and that doesn't work for me. So I opted to just go with the paperback and let the cards fly. So next we're reading The Wind in the Willows, and I love that we're moving into some children's literature because I think that of course I love this book. I had it on my shelf. I gift this a lot to friends who are having kiddos. But I don't think I've had the opportunity to appreciate it from a literary point of view. So I'm so excited to see what the Hardcore Literature Book Club members have to say. And of course, Ben's lectures. This one is illustrated by Robert Ingpen. It's beautiful. Really gorgeous illustrations. Let me see if I can show you. Just a beautiful book. So this will be a lot of fun. I will not be annotating this one. Annotations will be on paper for that, please and thank you. Okay. We will be also reading in May and June the short stories of Clarice Lispector. I had never heard of her. I could not be more intrigued. So I just went with the paperback. I don't tend to love short stories, so if I don't love it, that's fine. But Clarice herself is fascinating. The back calls her Sphinx, sorceress, and sacred monster. Dude, you've got me. I have to know this person. So I am really excited because this one came out of left field for me. I wouldn't have guessed this in a million years, and I love being surprised. So this is a fun surprise. That brings us to our foundational thought read for May and June, which is the Bhagavad Gita. I did not even look at what Ben's recommendations were for this because I taught a class on not this book. And I have a favorite translation. So if you're in the market for a translation, the Gavin Flood and Charles Martin is, again, chef's kiss. My absolute favorite. This is my bury me with this copy. I've actually read this book to shreds, so this is my second copy of this. It's one of my favorite philosophical novels. It's part of the Mahabharata, which Ben explains this way better than I, but it's huge. But I quote the Bhagavad Gita a lot as a therapist, and if you have not read it, Gavin Flood and Charles Martin is an excellent choice. This is a really nice book. The paper is mid, but the binding is top notch, so that'll be a lot of fun. Next up, my friends, is going to be, this will be July and August. So Ben is only having us read the first two. So Proust, In Search of Lost Time. I have the Everyman's edition, and my cats have been chewing on it. Cats in libraries are nice aesthetics, but the practicality of it, I have questions. Anyway, we are only scheduled to read the first two, and this is the Moncrief translation, in case you were curious. I'm going to try to read all four. I also have Lydia Davis's Swan's Way translation, which is beautiful and is my absolute favorite. So I'm going to be kind of doing a side-by-side reading, and I hope to finally get through all four. Again, it's a lot. I'm going to be cruising through some pages this year, I think. I will say this. So Ben he started with some close reading of Swan's Way, and I just want to say, if you happen to be watching this video for any reason whatsoever, Ben, and I know it would be like 20 hours long, if not more, but if anyone is voting for more close read of the whole shebang, it's me. And other people may be groaning, but for reals. I also have a really cool book that covers all the art that is mentioned in this masterpiece. So I'm going to be side-by-siding with that as well. And I am not throwing this one on the ground, so we're going to set that real gentle. Okay. Next is Finnegan's Wake. So we missed this one last year for a wonderful reason, and that's not my surprise to share, so I will leave that be. James Joyce's Finnegan's Wake. These Penguin paperbacks, they don't last long. This is meant to be destroyed. I generally get 6 to 7 readings out of these before they are completely shredded. So just, I'm a chronic rereader, and I know that this is going to take some note taking. I do have the Skeleton Key, which I think, was it Joseph Campbell? I don't remember, but Ben recommends the Skeleton Key. And I picked up some other books that should help me understand this. Now, if I remember correctly, we're not reading this completely as a group. I think he's just doing a how to read video. I really want to read it. And I will be 100% honest. I want to read it because I want to say I read it. And at first it bothered me to say that, but what happens is when I read something like this, Gravity's Rainbow was this way for me. It increased my skill level as a reader. And so, yes, I'm reading it just to say I read it, but I'm also reading it because it, when I go back and read other things, I get more out of them. It makes me a better reader. So, I'm going to try to read the whole thing. We will see. I may be reading nothing else but Ben's stuff. That's not true. I'm actually part of another book club, or I will be part of another book club that the Commonplace philosophy book group. We're doing, this will be my first run through with them, but we're doing philosophy and technology, and I purchased all of those books and I'm really excited about that. I may do a video on it. We'll see. Next up is Confessions by Augustine. I had this on the shelf. I don't know what he recommended. These modern library translations or productions are really nice. Good paper, good binding. Really excited about this translation. I have it also in The Great Works of the Western World. This is kind of a classic of Western thought. Really looking forward to reading this one with the book group. Am I excited about it? That's a story for another day, but I'm kind of middle excited about that one. That brings us into September and October. We will be reading The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I purchased this complete works. It's actually from the UK. It shipped from the UK. This is I don't know, HarperCollins. And it came a little damaged, so I fixed it. I have some of that bookbinding tape. I fixed it up. It's coming apart. It was used. It has that really thin, like, Bible paper. I love Oscar Wilde as a person. I loved The Importance of Being Earnest. I'm not super excited about reading this one. Don't ask why. I'm just not. But Oscar Wilde was a really cool human. Anyway, maybe I'll fall in love. We're almost to the end here, folks. So next up is Beowulf. I had this edition on my shelf. I had not read it yet. One of my coworkers actually said that this was like a loved book of hers, and because her taste is so impeccable, I know I'm gonna love it. Of course her taste is impeccable. She's friends with me. I'm just kidding. No shame, this one. So I'm really looking forward to this. I also purchased the J.R. Tolkien prose edition, so I'm looking forward to having it in a couple different translations / interpretations. So I am really, really excited about this one. That'll be fun. Next up is On the Origin of Species. So this one I already owned also, and I own it in this doorstop edition with the Edward O. Wilson commentary. Not commentary, I think he just does introductions. This has The Voyage of the Beagle, On Origin of Species, The Descent of Man, and The Expression of Emotion in Man and Animals. It's called From So Simple a Beginning. This is a gorgeous production, by the way. Beautiful. Who published this one? Hold on. I'm going to lose my place, but that's okay. Norton and Company. This is a beautiful book, by the way. Absolutely beautiful. And again, you can kind of see there is no play in that binding. None whatsoever. It's just really nice. I am kind of excited about it. I was really surprised. The Voyage of the Beagle is very readable, so I'll be interested to see how that goes. I'm not like super excited, but kind of mid-grade excited, somewhere in the middle. And finally, this brings us to November and December. So Ben always does the Secret Dickens, so I can't comment on that. I always buy those in the Everyman's edition. I have guessed correctly one time what that novel was, but they're always a lot of fun. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I just realized something, y'all. There's not a Jane Austen on this. We've been reading Jane Austen every year. Holy smokes. That just hit me. I am sad. Well, I'll read one anyway. I just realized that, y'all. Huh. Okay. His lectures on Pride and Prejudice, I had hated Pride and Prejudice my whole life until I read it with the Hardcore Literature Book Club. Anyway, okay. So, Ursula Le Guin, we're reading The Left Hand of Darkness. I have the the Library of America double-decker here because I loved The Left Hand of Darkness so much. Oh my god, it's so good. I will definitely read it again. I actually was considering reading the whole Hainish series. And what is tucked in here is actually the introduction that she wrote to The Left Hand of Darkness that was not in these editions. It was so beautiful that I found it and printed it out because I wanted to definitely have it. I love Le Guin. I actually fell in love with her poetry this year. She's was an incredibly talented poet. At least I think she was. So I'm super excited to end on this one. Whew, I'm losing my voice. I really hope you enjoyed this video, or it was useful, or at least interesting. I'm super excited to read these books this year. Again, Ben's lectures are awesome. You are awesome. Thank you for following along. And if you have any interest, I'm going to link my Substack, and I will link Ben's Patreon also, because it's really wonderful. And if you are someone who wants to increase your skill level as a reader, I definitely recommend. Anyway, happy holidays. You are much loved, and thanks for watching.